was Damon Black Warrior Lures. Somebody asked, what am I going to do for big catfish, and am I gonna cover that in the Handliner's Handbook? Most assuredly, yes. Paternoster rig. One of my weights here, probably going to just not even worry about the nails anymore. We're going to be suspend drifting, so there's just no need for the nail. Weight, it's about a 7-ounce weight, 110-pound snap. It's a 60-pound swivel. It's 50-pound test line there. About a foot above the knot there I have a dropper coming off, and I have one of my Black Warrior tip rigs. The heaviest hooks I have right now are just 6-aught hooks. This is 3-aught hooks, 6-aught. I need to get me some good 8 to 10-aught hooks. I prefer J hooks. You know, I'm a fly tyer at heart. This is an O'Shaughnessy hook, classic hook that's been around, arguably the best form of the J hook that's ever been invented. I just rather just tie a rig on my fly tying vise or a harness that can do whatever I want. This will set the hook just like a circle hook. That's going to hold my cut bait. About a foot above that, we have another dropper. It's coming to 20-pound test line that's been quadrupled over. Problem with hand lines is you don't have a rod and reel to absorb the shock. So that's why we're using almost, at least on the shank down and out, we're using monofilament. And from here, this is 20-pound test monofilament that's been furled into a leader that has a lot of stretch. It's about a, 3-foot piece of line that's been shrunk down to about 6 inches. So there's a lot of stretch in it. Hook a piece of night crawler onto that. All right, to see if we could get some, eating size channels on that. So more bluefish here and the bigger fish on the bottom, and right up from that in the water column a little bit, you're going to have that this guy dragging a night crawler. Another foot above that, the same thing, except this thing is about a 18-inch long leader. And one of the things is we're just using, again, a smaller Black Warrior tip rig that gives some sound. We're going to put a night crawler, number 2 on the front hook, number 4 on the back hook. That's just for sort of, again, that's just for eating size fish. I'm thinking in terms of how much scent and bait can we get off in the water. So instead of offering them one big bait, give them a variety of baits. That goes up here to another snap, another triple threat swivel, another snap, and that's going to, guess what? This is 100-pound test braid. It's the same sort of line that a lot of jug fishermen will use. Talking about catching big catfish, and when I say big catfish, I'm talking 40, 50 pounders and above. I understand the hooks I have are not really gonna necessarily get the job done, but that's fine. We can add bigger, better hooks. Guys in saltwater, I gotta give you the link to the guy's book who wrote, I can't pronounce his name. He's in the Philippines. He wrote a book on handline that's by and large inspired me to write the Handliner's Handbook. They, in the Philippines, out in the open ocean, they use 200 to 300-pound test monofilament for handline fishing. You don't need that much line to fight the fish. I mean, you'd be surprised at how much you can get away with like 20-pound test mono or 30, even with a handline. You hook into a 50-pound catfish with 20-pound line, it's like taking a razor blade to bologna. You'll just cut straight down to the bone. I would recommend a minimum of 100-pound. So, and I put a whole spool of that onto this reel, and it's a knot right there. You've seen the video where I talk about rigging it. If I'm really going for, say, the lake record or trophy fish, I'd get like 200-pound test monofilament with crimps on the ends. And I'd be coming down to, I don't see the point of the main line being any more than what it currently is. See how that's tangling? See, that can happen. But the thing I like about the 50-pound mono is that it stands out pretty well there. If you can see like that right there, that stands out pretty well. We can keep that in contact with the bottom or just off the bottom so it won't hang up and lose many rigs. The main thing is the main line needs to be a minimum of 100-pound test just to protect your hands from the pull of that big fish. Because when he starts rolling and he decides he's figured out he's hooked and he starts rolling and jets back down to the bottom, you can kiss your hand goodbye if you're just running like 20-pound test monofilament. Right. Another thing too for me is because I'm operating from a 12-foot John boat, if I get hung up with 250-pound monofilament, there's no way. It just anchored the boat. I'll never be able to cut myself loose, or I have to cut myself loose. I can't pull it. So I wouldn't really want anything more than about 50-pound test on the shank anyway, this part right here. That's the one reason why I use this rig here, because when he bites, most likely that tail hook is getting him. And he's biting right here on this hole here. He's never even biting here on this line here. So with this tip rig, I can use much lighter lines. There's no reason why I couldn't just use 30-pound test line for the shank. But we'll go use 50 because I know that there's some 100-pounders in Holt Lake or the Black Warrior River. That's where the state record is. The waters I fish is where the state record are. Big Cat Rig on a hand line, fellas. Get you some big 10-aught hooks. Use whatever hook you want. You like circle hooks, go for it. I'm not really, I've never been on the circle hook bandwagon simply because, I'm a fly tyer at heart, and that's what I go for. So I'm a meat fisherman, so I'm targeting smaller fish generally. But if you're really trying to get those 50 to 100-pounders, just run up your gear. 250-pound monofilament, would be, it sort of splits the difference between the 200 and 300. Once you get above 50-pound monofilament, it becomes very difficult to tie knots, and it's not advised that you tie knots anyway. You have to go to crimps, and using a true saltwater type crimps and leaders and things like that. Those of you guys who are running jug lines, those of you guys who are running trot lines, you already have some nice strong line to catch some big honking catfish, right? Even number 18 trot line or whatever can haul some pretty big fish because it's a 100-pound test line and it's easy on your hands. Just be careful with rope burn with this braid. Still, I recommend wearing the gloves. Ideally, I just get the 200-pound mono, which is what I'm going to do. And I just have to order all that stuff and just show you how I'd rig that up with the crimps and all that kind of stuff. See ya.